ever over 100 meters from the United States back on the track competitively in almost a year.
Yeah, it's been 352 days since his last race, and American track and field fans around the world have been asking, when is Tyson Gay going to run? The trials are 2 weeks away. He has decided to come here to New York, run in the B race to test himself and see where he is. And you hear the ovation by this New York crowd. I feel like a reasonable expectation of time today, Paul, is in the 10:0 range. There are only 3 Americans that have run under 10 seconds, and as you know, top 3 will be going to London from those trials. So if Tyson Gay can run something in the 10:0 range today, I think he is well on course. Now, of course, if he gets into the 9s or something greater than that, then I think he will go into Eugene, Oregon with a whole heap of confidence.
So it's certainly possible that we're going to find out in a few moments whether or not Tyson Gay has a chance to go back to the Olympics as we look at the rest of the competition. Certainly the focus is all on lane number 6, but also Jason Young in lane number 3 from Jamaica and his countryman Kamar Bailey Cole will offer some real competition to push Tyson Gay.
Well, Bailey Cole has run 10.09 and Young 10.19, depending on what type of race Tyson has here. This could be a push by them or a pull, so we'll see. But this is a race that the entire track and field world will be paying attention to, because the American record holder could be a big factor in London if he is in fact ready to compete at the highest level.
You see lane number 2 is open. Leroy Dixon from the United States on the scratch. How did Gay's countenance look to you? Usually very serious around the starting blocks. Very nervous in this situation.
He looked a little apprehensive. That's to be expected when you haven't raced in a year. But he looks confident.
Fair start, and Tyson Gay out very nicely. So is Jeremy Baskin down in lane 1. But it's all Tyson Gay. Now it's just a question. What is the time? 10 flat for Tyson Gay.
Well, I put 10:05 out there as the marker, and it's into a headwind of minus 1.5. Tyson Gay essentially just ran 990, folks. When you factor in that win at the bottom right of your screen, Tyson Gay is not only back, he's ready to challenge Justin Gatlin at the U.S. trials.
Tyson Gay underwent his 2nd surgery for a torn labrum in his right hip. That last surgery was in July, and the comeback has been slow.
Here's Tyson Gay, and we were expecting something in the 10:0 range. We got that 10 flat, but considering the headwind, this young man who has not run a race in almost 50 weeks comes back and runs a time that's as fast as he has run in quite some time. This is a lot more than I think even the biggest Tyson Gay fans expected. He had a great start and then pulled away from this field, and if he can stay healthy, Paul, that's the key. If he can maintain his health, I think he can climb aboard his 2nd U.S. 100-meter team.
Live once again from Randall's Island. Let's go down to Lewis Johnson with Tyson Gay.
All right, Paul, thank you very much. Well, Tyson, 10.00. What does that tell you?
It tells me that I'm healthy and I can get all the mental stuff on my mind just race now.
As you came to this track, it's been a long time since you spiked up and got on the blocks. How much nerves are going on there with you as you really came out here to show everyone and yourself that you were back?
I was pretty nervous. Like you said, it's been 365 days since I've raced, so it feels good to get out here.
So let's go back through the race. Take us through your start, through all of the phases, and tell me how you felt. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I was a little nervous at the start when they shot the gun. I popped up a little bit just from nervousness. Now I tried to just stay relaxed and finish the race.
All right, now as you leave this track, you feel like 10:00 is probably a strong time with the win date. As Otto said, maybe 9:90. What does that tell you about a couple of weeks from now at the Olympic trials?
Yeah, it told me that I need to go back to the drawing board, fix a few things, and I should be ready by trials.
And finally, no one can understand how difficult it has been to go through 2 surgeries to try to make it back to this moment. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's been very difficult mentally trying to stay strong, listen to the critics saying they can't come back, so it just feels good to come out here running from the fans.
All right, is 10:0 good enough for one bit of a smile there?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, there it is. All right, Tyson, thank you.
That was really good news for Tyson Gay and track and field. Back live for the Visa 110-meter hurdles, and there is Jason Richardson, the world champion in Daegu, but not to be forgotten, Aries Merritt and David Oliver, who had a wonderful 2010, really struggled last year, the Olympic bronze medalist.
You're getting a preview of the U.S. trials here, with the guys expected to contend for those top 3 spots right in the center of your screen.
false start.
I thought I saw Merritt in the center move. We'll wait to see what we are told.
Aries Merritt is the reigning indoor world champion. Beat Lu Shang over the hurdles indoors in Turkey.
I think it was Merritt. And from that replay, it certainly appears like the first movement on your screen is from Merritt. Just awaiting the official word now. And it is Aries Merritt that is being shown that red card. I hope he understands what that means. That card does mean Merritt's on the left of your picture in the yellow and blue.
Wow, that is really close. That is really a close call.
So Aries Merritt has been disqualified. And here we go again. A lot of times in the United States, they're allowed to run under protest, where they'll be allowed to run, and then if the decision is held up to disqualify them after, their performance will not count in terms of the placing and certainly any records.
So, Otto, you've been very impressed with how Aries Merritt has been running. With just a couple of weeks before the U.S. trials, this was a big opportunity to him to test himself against a world-class field.
Yeah, and he's going to be allowed to run. I think Aries Merritt, as it stands today, is the favorite for the U.S. title at those Olympic trials. But now he's been rattled a little bit, I'm sure, by this disqualification. So we'll see how he responds, because it's one thing to be running great performances, Paul, in Europe. It's another thing as it gets close to crunch time. And as we said, this field is an amazing one. He has a world champion to his left and the American record holder, David Oliver, to his right.
So Richardson in 4, Aries Merritt is in 5, and Oliver in 6. Pencil Parchment from Jamaica, another one to watch in lane 7. And there was some movement. There was movement in the blocks, Otto. I could see it.
And it looked like Aries Merritt again. So if this is a test of nerves, I think this is an F thus far for Merritt. And I'm all for running under protest, but if you false start twice, you got to come take a seat in the stands with us. There's Aries Merritt. He moves again. You cannot have that much movement before the gun. And yeah, it's clear that Merritt is moving before that gun sounds.
Yeah.
This rule was changed in 2010. It used to be that after one false start, you were allowed to be in. But let's go down to Dwight Stones in the meantime with a field package.
All right, Otto, earlier in the meet on the backstretch, this is Mitchell Watt, the #1 jumper in the long jump in the world last year. He was silver medalist in Daegu. You notice the really low arm carry. That's actually higher than it was last year. Hits the board nicely. And on the very first jump, without illegal wind, he sets a meet record, 26.9 1/4 for Watt. So off to a good start. Only 2 weeks ago did he start competing. He's getting ready for London very, very late, but a meet record to start things off in the long jump.
Thank you, Dwight. Back once again to try to get this 110-meter hurdles race started. Aries Merritt is still at the starting line. David Oliver there. This obviously very disconcerting to the other competitors.
Okay,
and Merritt's taking off his bib. Yeah.
Well,
Two strikes and you're out.
Well, the rule says 1 strike and you're out. And those folks like myself who do not like this rule is supposed to save time on television. How much time did we save right there?
Not much.
Not a whole lot, exactly, because what happens is...
Well, but if he had left when he was first shown the red card, we would have been on our way.
And what happens is the officials are always made into the villains, when in fact all they're doing is enforcing the rules. So here we go again. The fastest American in the world this year, Aries Merritt, has been disqualified for a false start. That leaves world champion Jason Richardson in 4 and American record holder David Oliver in 6.
And we'll try it once again. Big opportunity for Oliver. He's really struggled since owning this event in 2010.
Having some health issues.
And now there's real confusion.
Let me give you a little behind the scenes in this.
Please do.
The rule was changed in great part for how much the hurdlers in this event used to false start. So, we're going to race eventually, we promise you folks. Trying to see who moved this time. I can't see an obvious movement from that look. But it's... While we wait, let's go to Dwight again for another field report.
All right, Otto. I told you we had a good women's shot put coming in here. This is Jill Camarena Williams. She won a bronze medal at the World Championships last year. The only woman to ever do that from the U.S. She's the American indoor and outdoor record holder, 6-time NCAA champion from Stanford. The first round she gets out to 64.5. She has thrown further this year. This is the best shot putter in the world over the last 5 years. Valerie Adams of New Zealand, 6'4", 267. She's already thrown 69 feet this year. And in the third round, she sets the meet record for the second time, 67.7. So she is right on for London in 7 weeks, 8 weeks until track and field. Valerie Adams, the prohibitive favorite to repeat as Olympic champion in London. So she wins it easily with a meet record 67.7, and Michelle Carter of the U.S. also a season best, right in contention as well. Back to you guys as we look at the hurdles for the fourth time.
Thanks for reminding us, Dwight.
Dwight, I think it's Otto's fault, don't you? When we were here last year, we had Tyson Gay and Mike Mullings, and we went, it must be you. You're the common denominator.
Can't be my fault because I didn't like this rule when they changed it. So here we go again, as Dwight said, for the fourth time. Aries Merritt represents that space in the middle of the track.
That last false start was credited to Jamaica's Hansel Parchment, but he is running under protest, and now finally a fair start. Jason Richardson out nicely, Oliver trying to come, hurdles going down, Richardson running well, Jeff Porter on the inside, also moving well. Jason Richardson just edges out Porter, and what a race. Hurdles down, bodies flying at the finish line, and Jason Richardson does get it barely.
It wasn't a bad race by Richardson at all, considering all the false starting. Richardson is in the center of this picture, and you see him, he gets out well, and then David Oliver to his right, but really Jeff Porter as well in lane one, mounted a serious challenge, and the reigning world champion is able to hold on in a time that he'll be very happy with, given all of the false starting that happened before we eventually got started. So Jason Richardson wins in New York.
That was Dwight Thomas, the 31-year-old from Jamaica, the former Olympic gold medalist who went down right next to Jason Richardson. So after all of that, good composure by the reigning world champion Jason Richardson wins it in the Visa 110-meter hurdles. Back with more from the Adidas Grand Prix right after this from New York City.